We are Polish community. I am, we can say, YouTuber, and we're trying here to gather people to exchange information about crypto, finding new gems, and also bring interesting project like yours to have a conversation with. And this is a very good occasion for us to hear a lot of smart people and learn from you guys, because you are the brains of this industry and building a lot of new interesting stuff. So yeah, good afternoon.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for having me. It's very excited to be here and chat with the beautiful community you have formed.
Thank you. So maybe let's start in this basic way. So can you tell us who are you and what is your role in this project, and a little bit of your background?
Absolutely. So I am Uncle B, as you guys can see. I've been in crypto for a little over 5 years now. I'm originally coming from the automotive financial industry. But I got hooked to the crypto world, and then decided to follow more of an academic background. Got a few certificates, and then eventually got my master's in digital currencies, and then jumped into this space as soon as I could, leaving the entire career I had on the um, regular financial services in the automotive business. Um, Before joining Vela, I guess I was a part of a team that developed multiple DeFi protocols, successful DeFi protocols, one of which was the first lending protocol on Avalanche. Another one was the first lending protocol on Moonbeam chain. I was leading their business development initiatives and partnership initiatives and the entire process. And then I met Dan and like the NFT Jin and Travis through that way, and just joined the Dex. Back then it was Dex Pools, I guess. Dex Pools and the Vela team early this May after their initial sale. And since then, I've been leading the strategic partnerships, business development, a little bit of on the risk management side, as well as economic design, which has been always my big um, favorite part of crypto, I guess, is like the game theory part of it.
All right. So you are quite experienced guy with big and nice background. Nice to hear that. So maybe we can start with a little bit information, because as we know, firstly, Vela Exchange was Dexpool project, and now you trying to evolve, change, and bring some other useful stuff to industry. Can you say what happened to the DEX pool, and is it working still? And why you doing this pivot? Like like we can say, everyone waiting for a Fed pivot. So what about yours?
That's true. I guess it's a good time to pivot, and a lot of teams we see are pivoting, right? Like, in multiple ecosystems, many teams have pivoted to bring like the latest and the most desired product to the end user. What we did with, I guess, a little bit of a background on the Dexpools side is that they formed before I joined the Dexpools team, late 2022. There was the private seed and initial coin sale. And then afterwards we built the application, and we built an OTC application. Even though it was called Dex Pools, we technically didn't really have pools. um it was peer-to-peer OTC platform where everyone could join in and trade any token that they have and accept any other token within the same ecosystem, accepting at a specific price that they set. And then public can go in and fill in that order. It's like a very, very basic form of order book, essentially. You can also facilitate private OTC deals that way as well, which has been helping quite of larger players majority of the time. We added some little like a chat function to be able to allow people to negotiate. And got a lot of activity, of course. But this was when the bear market slowly started. And during the bear market, as we know, the low liquidity, high slippage tokens is slowly dying down during the bear market, and it's more so the majority of the volume is always around the deep liquidity tokens like ETH, like AVAX, like majority of these very deep liquidity tokens that are out there. So the slippage is majority of the time not a big issue. So the OTC does solve the removing the slippage out of the table kind of problem. And there is, of course, a lot more potential to it to build on top on. But we have made a decision to make a quick pivot. We always wanted to build an on-chain order book spot as well as a perpetual exchange. And along the way, by the way, the OTC platform is still live. You guys can use it. To be honest with you, it's amazing. Whoever uses it once gets hooked to it. It still goes under the DEX pools, but it will join into the Vela ecosystem fairly quickly. For the Vela side, when we did the pivot, we focused on the perpetual side more. We just wanted to perfect the perpetual side first, then we will bring the spot ideas to the table. But we wanted to do some things a little bit differently. We understand that there was a little bit of a big push around the perpetual exchanges popping out everywhere, lots of forks and stuff like that. We just wanted to do things a little bit more differently and target maybe a little bit of a wider range of an audience. I shouldn't say thankfully, of course, it didn't help the general space, but what happened with the FDX and stuff like that, people lost a lot of interest in using the CEX. But majority of the leverage traders do like to use centralized exchanges due to many factors, but majority of it is that because of the functionalities and the advanced tools and how fast it is and everything else. We just wanted to be able to capitalize on that type of an audience as well, to be able to bring a fully on-chain or fully on-chain perpetual exchange, but with very, very advanced risk management tools for the users to be able to first of all make a difference and improve this space and just show everyone that we have innovation in our mind.
Yeah, gotcha. We got here some traders, and sometimes I'm trying to ask them, what about DEXs? Why are you not trading in DEXs? What do you need to do your job there and leave those tech exchanges where you are not the you cannot control your tokens and your money fully, and there is many reasons that they still staying there on its axis. And what do you think, which features that you want to implement are like a game changer? Maybe there won't be any more barriers to bring them to the DEXs and use this on-chain solution.
Absolutely. I think maybe we should start from maybe zoom out a little bit, and I can say that why we decided to. Our OTC platform has been on multiple chains. It's a multi-chain app. But there is a reason why we choose for the perpetual exchanges, we choose a home base as Arbitrum. There were multiple reasons. We are very close with the Arbitrum team. We have a good partnership with them, as well as we just love the chain. I think one of the most important things when it comes to the leverage trading is overall trading, I should say, is that how fast you can execute. So you needed to pick very fast and cheap because there's too many orders within I guess within one trade. In order to build better strategies, it just gets very costly on like a mainnet ETH or something like that. So we needed to choose an L2 that is fast enough that will be bringing the most efficient tools for us to be able to build upon. That's why we're focusing on Arbitrum. Now, in terms of the advanced tools to be able to help some of this, I guess the tools that some of the CEX users are used to, but cannot find easily on the like DEXs, especially on the perpetuals exchange side, is that perp DEXs don't really have overall DEXs, I should say. have very, very limited functionality when it comes to be able to build good strategies and to be able to manage your risk, which essentially lead to a lot more liquidations and everything else. So what we wanted to do is to bring some unique features that we see on the fully on-chain, I should say, perpetual exchanges. Um, what I can say, some of them I can say, some of them I can't say. I can't spill the beans, but what I can say is that we will be having something like trailing stop loss orders, linked orders, editing collateral, multiple stop loss and take profit orders, and much more. We're even gonna implement a notification system where you will get a margin call. So you will be able to edit your collateral before you get liquidated and stuff like that. So we're fully focusing on how to improve a user's experience, a trader's experience. And this is our key to be able to onboard as many users as possible, not just from the DeFi, like decentralized exchange communities and the audience, but we believe that we will be onboarding quite a lot of CEX traders that are now scared because of you never know what's going to happen to which one, and choose self custody going forward, which should be the way, I believe.
That sounds very interesting. Yeah, so many different tools that a trader can use to gain more capital, to have better results. So yeah, I'm really excited for you guys, and I think that Arbitrum is a very good way to start this business, because there is all the DeFi is now there, and this is like reliable chain with Ethereum security. So yeah, good choice. But as we speak about Arbitrum, on the Arbitrum there is I think two main competitors. It's GMX and GNS network. So the question is, why you are better than them, and why people should come to Vela Exchange instead of those two?
That's an amazing question that I get asked a lot, actually. Well, first of all, one thing I can say is that we're thankful for those competitors that are out there. I mean, GMX even gains afterwards. They started paving a very good way towards the a healthy perpetual DEX experience overall, and taught us a lot. But what we wanted to do is to improve upon in multiple different ways. Just wanted to do things a little bit more differently compared to who you are comparing us to. But I guess like the features and the overall user experience is one of the main components, I should say. Um, we of course have distinct differences when it comes to the token economy design of how even how the LP is utilized, um, and how the LP is formed. We do follow the real yield strategy as well for our LP, but at the same time, the dynamics are a little bit different and the utilization is a little bit different. They're I guess for the GMX and gains, they both have very, very distinct features that make them very strong within the space. And we believe that we will also have specific parts of the overall experience of being a part of our ecosystem makes us unique.
So do you think you are gonna be more advanced and like a better version of those two?
I mean, that's a very it's almost like a trap question. I don't want to say anything bad about like we
Okay.
respect Gains team as well as the GMX team. We actually have a good relationship with the GMX team as well. Um, we respect the the road that they paved. We believe that we're a lot smaller to be able to make more daring moves, to be able to bring a more unique experience.
For sure.
I guess that will be a political way to answer this question.
Yeah, I know. It was a little bit of trap for you, but that's my job here. And
Absolutely.
for us users, that's amazing that we get so many now new good project that are on a perp business. So it's better for us, new innovations, bigger competition. So we cannot say that this is not good for us, for sure. Now I'm just gonna start. I start to asking about random question, and at first I got some from our community. How many pairs of trading pairs is gonna be available at the begin?
That's a very good question. So we take risk management very seriously and protecting our LP. So the pairs, the number of pairs that there will be able to be traded, as well as the open interest limits are going to be um it's correlated to the TVL that we do have. We're not going to be having an over collateralization. It will be under collateralized majority of the time. So for the at the beginning, I would say probably you will be able to see 4 pairs. One thing I should say around the pairs and the assets that are being provided for the users to be able to trade is that we have also unique ideas around this. We want to be able to not just limit to just top coins that you can trade anywhere else, but we also want to bring some money markets into the game, as well as something unique that we haven't seen in this space yet, which I'm not spilling the beans yet, but um, we're going to be
I
bringing
think I know
something.
what is it because you spelled a little bit of beans on a previous AMA. There was something about bonds.
Well, not necessarily bonds. Well, the bond market is like there are completely different ideas around the bond markets as well, but um somewhat I should say somewhat linked, and you will be able to see um I guess I'll just spill the beans for you guys is that there will be longing and shorting on a market cap of a stable asset. This is of course down the line in the future, but here's some alpha for you guys that we want. This shows that we are open for innovation and try newer things with, of course, keeping the security and the risk always in mind, because we're quite aware that crypto space is very volatile, and there's a lot of manipulation that can be done. We've seen in the experience of our other competitors in the past, there has been price manipulations and stuff like that, whether due to the price feeds as well as the overall distribution of the token itself that is out there, or the asset itself that is out there. So we're very, very selective when it comes to the assets. We don't want to just add whatever coin because people want to trade it. It can hurt the LP a lot, and we just don't want that. We want to make sure that our LP is protected.
Sure, sure. Thanks for this alpha. It's really pleasure to hear something like that. And this is, I think, very interesting function to and asset to trade, because no one has that, and that's gonna be very unique. And I know that you need to be very careful with assets that you're gonna list there, because for example there was like bit shit show on Against Network when people were shorting Luna, so that was not so good for them.
Exactly. And imagine that was Luna. Like that was a billions of dollars market cap. Like the you never know what can happen. Of course, we do have some like manual controls, just like Gains does, just like GMX does, like specific controls over to be able to control these type of events. But we just don't want to be reactive. We just want to be able to be proactive with these decisions to make sure that we don't have to go in and check the news every minute to be able to make changes, but rather just be proactive with the assets that we select.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Mm. Can you say how big is going to be liquidity at the beginning?
That's a very good question, and it allows me to share a little bit more about our early incentive liquidity program. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we just announced the details about our Hyper VLP event, which is the VLP is our liquidity pool token. Our liquidity pool will be based solely on USDC. So it will be market neutral. There won't be basket of assets that does fluctuate with the market. So it will be market neutral, a lot more on the, I should say, more on the stable side in terms of the market movement. With this, we wanted to have like an early liquidity incentive that's starting next week along with our beta, that it's going to be a 2-week event where users can go in depending on what stage they have access to. There will be multiple stages. They can stake USDC and they will be able to mint our VLP. Whoever does within this event, the event is capped at 10 mil, 10 million VLP reached, and then the event is over. But whoever stakes USDC within this event will be able to get VLP, so collect regular VLP rewards, which is up to 60% of the platform fees, all the liquidations, all the losses. On top of that, they will be able to earn additional bonus Vela rewards monthly dropped for the next year, so vested for 12 months. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. The numbers look amazing. It's an amazing opportunity for anyone who has any USDC sitting on the sidelines. We just limited it at 10 mil to make sure that we are that we I should say it this way, our emissions are quite strict when it comes to like rewards and everything else. When it comes to Vela, you will be able to see if you read our Git book and white paper, the updated ones that got published yesterday as well, that within our ecosystem, we don't really give away like Vela token much. There's not too much of a minting process going on. Other majority of the rewards are either in USDC if you're within the Hyper VLP pool or the VLP pool, and some rewards for the Vela stakers as well as the VLP holders are in escrow Vela. Escrow Vela is something that you may be familiar with the GMX's model, though in our case there won't be any restrictions. If you do have an eVela, you can go in and vest it, or you can stake it. You will have two choices, and if you do vest it, you will be getting the same amount of Vela just vested over 12 months to you. Every single eVela that is provided from the, I should say it this way, every single eVela that we do provide after the full launch will be sourced and reserved in case if everybody decides to vest. We don't source all of these eVela that are vested from minting new Vela, but rather we buy back from the market to a reserve wallet that holds the same amount of Vela tokens as the eVela tokens that are out there, if that makes sense. So we do have like a buyback mechanism within our economy as well. And this Hyper VLP event is one of the few ways to get your hands on the Vela tokens. So we're very excited. We have so much interest around it already. We just shared our landing. We just shared a landing page where you can go in and submit a form to be able to get access to either round 1, round 2, or round 3 access to the Hyper VLP. Now, one thing that matters within this Hyper VLP program, the event that we have next week, starting next week, is that there's going to be 6 different tiers of rewards. Earlier you get in, the higher reward tier you can guarantee. So it's going to be on first come, first serve. So being fast with this contract and being fast at the staking is going to be very, very critical. I also do have a little bit of an additional opportunity that we will be sharing with you guys and this community as well. I'll spill the beans about that a little later.
Oh, that's great to hear. We were waiting for that. But yeah, I wanted to ask you about that anyway, about this Hyper VLP. And yeah, that's great that you mentioned that. And we are really interested in deploying capital there. So we got a few people from this community who are really engaged in your project and OG role and stuff like that. So great to hear. And I like the fact that in VLP you are using just USDC, because for example, I'm gonna compare you to Gain Network, because that's your competition.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because they are using DAI, and DAI,
Right.
if something if something will happen to USDC, DAI is screwed. But if something happen to DAI, USDC will survive. So you eliminate this hazard, and you are covered. You got like the best stablecoin in the market. So if something will happen with USDC, we all screwed anyway. So I think
I guess we would have much larger problems than just the VLP if USDC gets screwed, right?
exactly.
But yeah, I guess this shows our overall mentality of how we want to manage our risks. We just want to make sure that we do always take the right steps for a steady growth. Our plans are long term. So with, of course, being a smaller and a newer, I guess I should say, the new guys on the street, we can be a little bit more daring, but at the same time, our goals are to be here, successful, and always innovating for years to come. It's our goal is not to just launch and be successful and that's it. We do believe that there's of course market cycles, and there's cycles that we onboard millions of people a day to the DeFi, depending on the time of the market. And there are times that we lose a lot of people out of this market. We just want to make sure that we're sustainably and continuously growing.
Yeah, that's right, for sure. Now I want to ask you about your future plans, and is there gonna be text listing? Maybe do you think about that, or this is like in the future, but it's not gonna be like in next month, but really later?
Centralized exchange listing? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. To be honest with you, that's my personal view, and I don't mind sharing. Centralized listing is, of course, in every project's mind at all times. It's a good source of liquidity. Though centralized exchange space has been like a minefield. You just never know. Wherever you step, it may be a mine, or you may be just fine by listing at that exchange. So for now, we have ongoing conversations with multiple centralized exchanges continuously. However, we're not rushing centralized exchange listing for any reason. We do believe that we can take our time on that one and choose the right ones at the right time. When this big smoke, first of all, clears around the centralized exchanges, as well as just to be able to choose the right ones at the right time. So we do have plans to list on the centralized exchanges. Absolutely, we do have ongoing conversations, but there is no distinct plan that I can share that, hey, we will be listing at this exchange at this time. There is no plan like that yet.
All right. Yeah, I think that you don't need to hurry, because we know that this is good for hodlers because they can get nice pump, but for you guys, as you are a team trying to build good business, it doesn't matter so much, because people need to use your platform for you to be successful, not to pump your token. It's good when token is pumped. It's good marketing for you, because people know, people see, people ape in, and then maybe try use your platform. But yeah, I need to be really careful with that stuff. Okay, so
Exactly.
so we've got this cover, and now I want to ask you about NFTs, because there is stuff that you say there's gonna be NFT, and what is about that? And is it gonna be is there gonna be some utility for that? Can you explain more about that?
Amazing questions here. So about the NFT, one thing I can say is that there's like NFT campaigns depending on, sometimes on AMAs. We have an AMA today. I believe that may have some sort of an NFT campaign tied to it as well. We've seen, of course, great success at integrating NFTs into our ecosystem, and that allowed us to onboard a lot more users, and that gave us a chance to educate a lot of people on the Vela Exchange. Um, we have big plans for the NFTs. I cannot share much details around it. One thing I can say is that they're all about contribution and just going into the AMA and stuff like that. Just make sure you collect all of them.
All right.
There will be very, very interesting mechanics around it. Just make sure you collect all of them.
Okay, okay. Because there was also something about crafting those NFTs, and I guess you need to have all of them, and then you can craft something. So it's about that. There's gonna be like this useful stuff.
Correct. So yes, there will be some sort of a crafting method where you will be able to collect all of these pieces and then craft a another NFT which will have a specific utility tied to it. So it will be a very important part of our ecosystem as well. Us as a team, like some parties within the team, like the core team, love NFTs. Um, I met Dan over an NFT community. So we just want to make sure that the NFTs are a very important part of our ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that's the good direction because there is also some NFT in others projects and they are useful, they are exciting, and people love to have it. And how we can get those NFTs?
So far, the first batch, I believe, was with the AMA with Arbitrum that we had. That was the first piece, as far as I know. You can get more information about this, by the way, on our Discord if you have any questions. We have lots of OGs and lots of mods ready to answer all of your questions. Us as team members jump in also all the time. We care about our community a lot. We listened to our community a lot when we were building our project, especially our OG members and everything else. They gave us amazing ideas. We like to build with community, but in terms of collecting NFTs, before I get too far off the rail here, um, I believe there may be a chance today's AMA as well. I think we have a later today, we have an AMA. I think it's in like 5 hours or so that we are going to have a very, very huge AMA. Just make sure you tune in. And we are partnered with like a social platform to be able to provide this, just like the previous one as well. Galaxy, we have a partnership with. Um, so there will be instructions. Make sure you follow the instructions and be present at the AMA, and you should be able to get one.
Amazing, amazing. Um, in the GMX project, team rewards from the for their work there they need to sell the tokens, and in Gains network team is earning a little bit of the fees that platform generate in DAI. What solution you are gonna implement? Are you gonna live and earn money from the tokens that you need to sell, or it's gonna be some piece of the pie from fees from users?
That's a very good question, and I think it's you can find more information about this on our like overall token economy, either on Gitbook on white paper. But I'll give you a quick explanation. Is that some portion of the fees, a small portion of the fees, does go to the like the treasury wallet, um, and then majority of it is being redistributed back to the VLP holders as well as the Vela stakers, VLP holders and stakers, and Vela stakers, so our community and all the token holders and the liquidity providers. But we do take a specific percentage. I guess maybe a little bit more similar to gains on this end, which will source many things down the line. Besides the sustainability of the team and the development team. Beyond that, we will be planning to like allocate some portion of it to slowly maybe build on a small insurance piece of a product, um, as to be able to bring more value back to the users again. Um, and yeah, so plus I guess there will be some referral affiliator program within our application too. I think all of the other DEXs have that same thing, like a like a referral link, and then you will be able to get a specific percentage of that referred people's trades and fees and everything else. That all comes out of the part from the treasury side rather than diluting everyone's rewards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. It's good to hear that because for me personally, I like when team can earn some money from the job that they know how to onboard more users and they pay fees, and that's how they earn good money. Because like this is more traditional way of a business, not just create token and try to pump it to get more money. So I think that's good way. And do you plan to go multi-chain? Because we know that layer 2 Arbitrum, they got good scalability, but it's not perfect one. And when we onboard a lot more users to the space, that can be a little bit challenging, and also it's gonna be good for your business to go expand on the new chain. So what about this multi-chain, and do you think it would be like next different chain, or maybe you will create one in like omni-chain style?
That's a phenomenal question, and we get this a lot. I mean, our OTC application is multi-chain, so you can go, you can use multiple layer ones and layer twos there, but majority of them, of course, EVM based. But within the perpetual exchange, I can say this: with the Vela, um, our main focus right now is to be on Arbitrum, succeed on Arbitrum. We chose Arbitrum as our home base. We just want to make sure that we are successful at what we do and we can improve on within the home chain that we choose. Going forward down the line, there's nothing that holds us from going multi-chain. There's multiple ways of going multi-chain nowadays. Like you don't really need to dilute your liquidity. Essentially, you can use like an interoperability solutions to be able to go multi-chain, which is of course a constant discussion within the team. However, for now, I can say that we will be for now as well as foreseeable near future, we are fully focused on the Arbitrum ecosystem because we're so bullish of not just Arbitrum ecosystem itself, the chain, as well as the the amount of people that it's being onboarding, plus the amount of brains that are on Arbitrum currently is blowing my mind. I am on the strategic partnership side. I speak to a lot of other protocols, and the amount of um like geniusness that's there is only makes me more and more bullish about Arbitrum. When it comes to back to being in a bull market, I do believe that we will have an amazing momentum within Arbitrum ecosystem. um and yeah, so for now our main focus is around the Arbitrum. One more thing I should say about Arbitrum is that about the partnerships perspective, which I can touch on, is all the protocols that we speak to is we're mainly always focused on building some value to the end user. It's never about, hey, let's just do a co-marketing effort and let's just do a few tweets and that's about it. That's what the partnership is all about. On Arbitrum, if you don't build something together and if you do not create some great value to the end user and the users of Arbitrum ecosystem, um, then you don't really form a proper partnership, which I really, really do like because that's what partnerships should be. There should be real value coming out of it rather than just a co-marketing event.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Gotcha. Mm. For now, you are just perps, and perps is gonna be at the beginning of this project. But then there is also information that you will go for the spot trading. And my question is, VLP and this one big liquidity pool in USDC, it's useful for perp trading, but what's there gonna be a solution for spot trading? Is there gonna be LPs like everywhere else, or you've got some nice solution and innovations to use?
Amazing question. To be honest with you, right now, as I said, our main focus is around the perps. And then I believe shortly after, our main goal is to be able to onboard our OTC application and the experience into the Vela ecosystem, and within the Arbitrum ecosystem. But for the spot, of course, we do have a lot of ideas. We want to be, again, just like the perps, we want to get creative around it. As you guys know, just having USDC in the liquidity pool doesn't allow us to be like a GLP type of utilization where we can just be a market maker for spot exchange as well. But for the spot exchange, our goal, um, our I should say plans, which may change, of course, down the line, but our plans to be more so around the like an on-chain order book, working closely with market makers, bringing in the liquidity and everything else. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, sure. I'm checking your white paper, and I was reading the old one like 3 days ago, and one of other community guy said that there is gonna be new one, and I'm surprised now because there is new one on the website. And I didn't have a chance to see it and look through it. But it looks better. It looks good, and I think that there is more information when I'm checking like this really quickly. So good for you guys, because I think it was needed. It was needed.
Our initial white paper was just a little bit too scattered. It was useful information and a lot of information, but we had too much information, for example, about the spot exchange, even though the spot exchange is down the line, it's not current. We just wanted to be able to provide the most updated, most relevant information as quickly as possible, as accessible as possible for people. So that's why we made changes. And then we also, if you go to our website, we had a little bit of a revamp. I think it looks amazing. Besides the forms, you can also get to the Git book, which has a lot more in-depth information about how we do things.
Yes, yeah, for sure it's better, because I saw that there is a new website, and I didn't check white paper. I was thinking that this is the same, or maybe you will get there's gonna be some announcement on your Twitter. So I think you should do that. Maybe a little bit announcement about new white paper. It would be useful for the community.
Absolutely. We just have so many announcements, like one after, because we have a hyper VLP going on. We have beta coming up. We have a partnership with our listing on Arbitrum, because we're going to have a bridge experience, right? Like the DXP that's out there is going to be redeemable for one-to-one for Vela, and it will all come to Arbitrum. And then we have a partnership on that end, where we're going to have our liquidity pool for the AMM side and everything else. So we just have so many moving parts. So we have to select carefully what we announce. But yeah, I take that, and I'll take it to the team that definitely we should be pushing some sort of news that for people to be able to know that we have updated information that's out there and accessible.
Sure. I think because when you get so much information to share, you don't want to spam and release
That's right.
it. Yeah. Do you have something like ambassadors and people that they're gonna be like ref links, or maybe some benefits for them to spread the words about you?
Absolutely. We do have an ambassador program, and we have about 40, I think about 40 plus find ambassadors. When we were picking our ambassadors, we were very like selective, because there's a lot of, I'm not gonna keep it away. There's a lot of feeling that's going on the Twitter side, or on the overall the social media side of crypto. But we wanted to pick and work with specifically the talented, in-depth researchers, as well as trading experienced ambassadors, to make sure that they do not just provide more information and to a wide range of the audience, but also they can help us when we're testing our product. They can help us with improving our product and everything else. So in our case, ambassadors are, I guess, a little bit more than just ambassadors to us. They're also like an extension of the team now, that they do help us out a lot, and they also do spread the word that's out there. We just need to make sure that people hear about us, so we can educate them for a better trading experience, right? But in terms of referrals to the application, there will be referral links, and there will be more information coming out like around this, like the affiliate links.
Yes, because from my perspective, I can share that with you. Like when the first time when I heard about you about DEX pools and this pivot to Vela Exchange, I saw some tweets in accounts that I think there are more shillers than like reliable users, and I was very skeptic about that because I saw, okay, the token is pumping, there are shilling, then there's gonna be, I think, like some dump, something like that. But I didn't realize that you're a legit project that would try to is trying to build really amazing stuff. So that was my perspective. So cooperation with good people from the industry, like influencers, but the right one, yeah, is gonna be really good stuff for you.
I can say this too, is like in terms of who can go ahead and create a thread about Vela Exchange, we can't limit anybody's because so there's a lot of people who like to say what they want to say about Vela Exchange, right? They either have their own monetary benefit out of it or whatever is the case. But who we work with, we are very selective. Who we work with very closely, we're very selective, and we want to make sure that as we are growing, they grow as well. They learn and they grow as well. As I said, they're like almost like an extension of our team.
Yeah, for sure. So real yield, that's the sexy topic now, and a lot of project is going this way, and you wanna go this way too. So tell me, is there gonna be real yield as you share revenues to the users, or also these revenues will be shared in tokens like Ether or stable coins?
Yes, so real yield has been, I think it's been an amazing, maybe almost like an innovation piece, even though it was right in front of our eyes. A lot of projects just never chose to use it for a very long time. And I think we're very glad that the projects that paved the way and made this a new norm. I think it's an amazing way to be able to incentivize both ends. So we will be going with the real yield mentality. As I mentioned, I guess in one of your previous questions as well, that the the liquidity providers will be earning the majority of um, the fees of the platform that platform collects, as well as, of course, all the liquidations that happens and um, all the losses on the traders end and stuff like that, because the LP is the basically VLP is utilized for margin lending for the traders, and they are taking the other side of the trade, right? For that, we do reward them for their effort and the risk that they take, of course, with all of the gains on the like being a counter trade, as well as the fees that the platform collects. On top of that, of course, we do provide a certain bit for the Vela stakers as well. So yes, in terms of in what form these rewards will be is a very good question. You can have a very in-depth diagram you can find on our white paper, but I'll give you a quick example. Is that the um, very big majority of it? So the VLP holders are going to be able to, well, stakers, I should say, because you can stake VLP as well. You will be able to earn up to 60% of the platform fees. Um, 50% of this, well, I shouldn't say 50% of this, but like the 50% of the platform fees will be going back to the LP itself. So it will be in USDC. It won't be in ETH, but it will be in USDC. And then the 10% additional bonus will be given to people who stake their VLP in escrow Vela tokens. Um, we will be using that amount to buy back Vela from the market, lock it away, and then provide eVela instead. Same kind of dynamic works for Vela stakers as well.
All right, I like it. I like it. It's good. So if you guys community wanna see some more tokenomics, you need to go and just read this new white paper. It's gonna be very useful. I'm gonna do it after it for sure too. And now the question is, what was the main challenge for you guys? Because we know that there is a few things that is really hard to do when you trying to create this platform for perp trading? And was it like a nice UI, or was it like those tools for the traders, or just creating this liquidity for them? What was the hardest thing to do?
That's an awesome question. Let me think. Now, there has been, of course, a lot of challenges for any team like us that is building in this bear market. There's so many challenges for us, right? Because um, while we were building this, there is like less and less people left within the ecosystem, and we're trying to make sure that we build a product that onboards more and more people. So it was, it's mentally hard. But and I should say one more difficult thing for us is, of course, this is a problem for probably all the applications that is out there, is that the amount of um like the dev bandwidth overall. We want to do so many things so quickly, but you can do only so much. Um that was another one. One more challenge was, I guess, the timing. We just wanted to be quick and hit the market as effectively, of course, as we can, but also as quickly as we can. But we, just like every other project, we had to have our own delays for from many different angles. We are a small team. We wanna we're all putting multiple hats all at the same time. But I believe that we ended up timing it almost perfectly. Um, for the market conditions and overall building the momentum before being able to launch on mainnet, our beta. As well as, one thing I can say is that besides all the challenges, we have a very, very talented, even if it's a small team, we have a very talented and experienced team that is always overly communicating, always working together. We have we're constantly in calls with each other. We're constantly making sure that we're all in sync, and that's one thing that we did great, I believe, to overcome all of these challenges that came our way.
How many people is in your team?
That's a very good question. With all the like the devs, like the front end devs and everything else, I believe we're about 10 to 12 people.
Okay, okay, that's good. You will last for longer if something will bad happened. But of course, wish you all the best, guys. But you know, sometimes, especially in some project, that we see that there is so many people, and for now in this bear market, it's hard to earn money and hard to get new users, and that's a big problem. And they have just money for like next 3-4 months. Everyone is stressed out. You know, it's then when you stress, your performance is worse and you're not thinking clear. So good to hear that. And is it for you, is it gonna be like how many months you can survive if you won't have any revenues?
That's a very good question. So like we had our raise around the DEX pools times, early 2022, right? Like maybe the end of Q1 of 2022. And then we had our seed private as well as the ICO, and we raised a few $1 million that way. That helped our team to grow to a specific level, but we did not overgrow. We didn't just go insane on hiring everyone and become like a 50 people company. We were kind of aware that the market was going to have its cycle. So we were prepared for what was to come. Of course, just like any other project, we would like to be successful as quickly as possible to take a very nice, good, deep breath. But in terms of the runway, we're fine. So a, li- I think regardless, even if your runway is 10 years, you still stress about it. So you can't just avoid that stress. But our stress may be a lot less compared to many projects that are out there, and maybe more compared to many other projects. But that stress is somewhat, just like you said, it may be straining, it may lead to some failures, but at the same time, it's a good fire um, up your bum almost, to make sure that you do take things seriously. Because just having a great idea but not executing on it on time will cost success to these projects.
All right, gotcha. So the last question, and I think it's important, just came out with that for the hodlers of DXP token, and there's gonna be new platform. So new platform, there's gonna come new token, Vela token. So how we can like exchange those token between them, and is it gonna be easy or there's gonna be a problem? So how will it work?
Well, our goal is to make sure that this experience, as a team, we've been always focusing on good experiences, like visually, overall, whatever you do within our ecosystem, we just want to make sure that you do have a good experience. So the bridging experience, people will who has DXP today, um, or up until the day that the bridging is happening, they can take their DXP, bridge it over to Arbitrum, and get their Vela. This experience is going to be, we believe that it's going to be quite fluid, easy, and we will be moving the liquidity pools from the ETH and Metis that we have now to Arbitrum. We just I guess sometimes some groups do ask us like, why didn't you do this before and stuff like that. We just want to make sure that we time it right, as well as we want to make sure that the experience is somewhat of a unique experience and a good experience to do this. So one DXP today will be a one Vela when the bridging happens. And that's soon. I can't give you an exact date, but that's soon.
All right.
Very soon.
Yeah, sure. I think the most important is to just start with the platform, and then token will you will have time to make this tool to bridge the token. And okay, so now the last one is a question from the chat community. Is it worth signing up for a hyper VLP program if I'm not a VLP minter? If that makes sense.
Um, it's a very good question. So, if you are not planning to mint any VLP, then it doesn't really make much sense, because the whole point of it is to make sure that you get ahead of, like, you have a chance to get ahead of others, to be able to mint earlier. If you do sign up for the form itself, um, you may get, like, because of the randomizing and the way we choose, you may get an early access, but if you do not take advantage of the hyper VLP, then it's a little bit more pointless. But one thing I can say is that whoever does get access to the hyper VLP does also get access to the rest of the application, so you will be able to open up trades and stuff like that. We will have on the beta, which I wanted to share it with you guys, there was no question about this, but the beta is coming up, starting sometime next week, about like pretty much today next week. During the beta, it's going to be, the application will be there. You will be able to test many of the tools and stuff like that, and you will be able to test maybe next week today, depending on what round you get access to. We will be allowing a specific amount of numbers at a time, to make sure that we slowly scale, and just avoid big outages and stuff like that. So we thought that that would be the best way to approach when it comes to hyper VLP as well as the beta. But in terms of filling up the form, if you are not planning to mint hyper VLP, you will still be able to test the rest of the application. So it's a cool, it does have a little bit of a benefit to it, but you are kind of not taking the biggest advantage of it, which is the hyper VLP event early access, right?
Okay, okay, oh, I gotcha. Because there is like clarification. He didn't get any email. If is it worth signing up now? So I think it's worth, because you still can get a chance to get there. Yeah.
It's worth signing up until we close the form. I'll leave it at that.
All right. All right.
You may get an early access round one. You may get an early access round two. You may get an early access round three.
Four,
Either
five,
one of
six.
these three. No, there's going to be most likely just three, if any.
Yeah.
But these three, it's still before public access, so you still get a head start compared to many other people that is out there, right? It doesn't guarantee, like, signing up a form doesn't guarantee you the spot, but it of course gives you the chance. If you don't sign up, then you don't get it whatsoever. You just become a part of the public. One thing that brings me, what this topic brings me to, is that for this community that is listening to us right now, I wanted to make sure that we do take care of you guys as well. Thank you very much for having me here, and it was an amazing time. We are giving away 25 guaranteed early access round one spots to this
That's
community. So I will leave it to you guys however you would like to give away. But we will be giving 25 spots to this community. Hudo and friends.
That's great. That's amazing. Nice to hear that. And how we gonna do that? Do I like pick the people and then just send you the list, or how does it gonna work?
Absolutely. You can do the giveaway the way you guys normally do, or whatever the form you would like to do. Just provide me a list of 25 addresses, so I will make sure that those addresses will get access to the early access round one, most likely starting next week today.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. That's
Oh, one more thing. I'm so
yeah.
sorry. Sorry to break this, but if you do include emails there as well, we will be able to notify you a little bit better. But if you don't, just make sure you turn on your notifications and follow Vela in every way possible, so you don't hear about it later. If you get this one of these 25 spots, if you're one of those lucky entrants, just make sure you follow everything. We will try to make sure that we tell everyone and announce everyone when each of these start, will be via email as well as the social media, but just it will help.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Thank you very much for your time. It was pure pleasure to talk with you, to talk with smart guy from the industry, and we are very exciting for this project. We wish you all the best, and I think that it's gonna be amazing start for you, because everyone is excited and waiting for another big and good project on Arbitrum. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Again, if you guys have any more questions going forward, I will first of all remain here for a little bit, as well as you can please join to our Discord, follow us on this Twitter, on Discord. You can ask us anything. You can tag me into your questions, and you can also DM me if you choose to. Thanks for having us.
Amazing. Thank you, and have a good the rest of the day.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.